Okay, just a quick video to show how to set these indicators up. If you downloaded the link that had the entire chart, your chart's going to look like this. Um, or it may not. And that's why I want to do this video, because you might have to customize it a little bit. So I kind of want to, I've done others like it before, but I'm going to do this one just to anybody's new to these indicators, kind of have an idea of how to customize through them. So you're going to see all these indicators are already previously loaded on this chart. Okay. And it's really not that many indicators. It's just that they occur several times. So there's the Strat reversal basic 4. And what you're seeing there are the individual, like here we're on a 1 minute chart. So what you're seeing there is like the individual 1 minute candles. It's a little obscured here because of all the other overlays that are on there. But let me see if I can show you kind of what that looks like by itself. Um, and I'll kind of walk through how to customize it. Actually, that's what it looks like by itself. It's just the candles, the individual candles by themselves. And they are color coded. There's the legend up there, and it shows how they're color coded. The only thing that is not on this legend is if you see cyan or magenta, like you see magenta here on these labels over here. If you see a candle that is cyan or magenta, that represents one of the 4 basic reversals that Rob described in his interview with Steve Burns. So let me take all the other stuff off of here just so that we can focus on that one study real quick. And then maybe show you how to customize it. So, for example, all these other bars right here, if they're gray, then it's not any of these. It's a 1. The gray ones are a 1 where the open and close is in exactly the same spot, or a 3, for example, here. So it's not a 3 up or a 3 down. It's just a 1 or a 3 by itself. There's no direction there. The close is exactly where the open was. So there's no color on those. The rest of them have color based on a code that I wrote that tells it if it's a 2 up or a 2 down, or a 1 up or a 1 down. Basically, if it's a 2, it took out one side of the range and only one side of the range. And up means it took out the top side of the previous range, like it did here. So that's a 2 up. Down means it took out the downside of the previous range, like it did there, and not the upside. So that's a 2 down. 1 means it's exactly inside the previous range. And if it's a 1 down, means the close was below the open. If it's a 1 up, that means that the open is like there. It's exactly inside the previous range, but the open is higher than the close. I'm sorry, the close is higher than the open. It moved up. And the same goes for the 3s. And that's basically the logic behind the code that gives it the instructions to paint these particular colors. And the magentas and the cyan candles right there, are based on another code that I wrote for the 4 basic reversals. And it's anytime that one of those reversals happens, then it'll paint the candle on which it ends, the color for an up reversal or a down reversal. So like here we have a 2, 1, 2. And you see the magenta candle up at that point, and you see the price did reverse to the upside there. And not every time they happen, you'll see a change in direction, but you do see a reversal. So reverse down, reversed up. And I think that's part of what a rev strat is. I'm still trying to absorb that, and I haven't coded for that. These are just the 4 basic reversals. If you look inside the settings, you'll see what they are. It's there's 8 because it's 4 to the upside, 4 to the downside. So you have a 2, 1, 2 to the downside, 2, 2 to the downside, or a 3, which is a 2 that went 3 to the downside. And then there's the opposite for the bull reversals. So now that we're on the setting page, let me show you what each one of these settings does. Strat numbers will paint the numbers under each candle. So that you can see at a glance. You don't have to sit there and try to measure. Did it take out the bottom? Did it take out the top? You know automatically if it's a 1, then you don't have to try to measure that. That didn't take out both sides or either side, so it's a 1. Show 2s, I turn it off. I say no to that, but if you hit yes, all the 2s will show up. I just like to try to declutter as much as I can. Show arrows. The arrows, I'm going to show you what they look like, and the bubbles, I'm going to hit yes on both of those. Are there more of a more as of a learning tool to just help you identify which type of reversal you're looking at? So like here, like I said, that's a 2-2. Well, here's a 2-2. Here's a 2-2 down. There's a 2-1-2 to the upside, and so on and so forth. So the arrows just tell you it's basically redundant. I really need to take those off of there, but it just reiterates what you're seeing with the color, which if it's magenta, it's down. If it's cyan, it's green. They're not buy or sell signals. Those are just there to help point out where these reversals are happening. And the bubbles are there to tell you which reversal you're looking at. And that's it. And so if you leave them on the chart, you're not going to be able to see anything. So that's why I take them off. I just put them on if I'm curious as to what reversal I'm looking at, and then we'll hit that off. No, to turn it off on both of those. Use red, green, or use Trend Magic. I'll show you what Trend Magic looks like. I'm not really using it anymore. I was at the beginning, but it really has nothing to do with the strat. It's cool for like looking at trends. So it's just a trend following system that paints candles. Blue or red. Blue for uptrend, red for downtrend. I'm keeping the reversals in there. And that's basically it with Trend Magic. It's not really based on the strat, but if you want to see trend, you can see it that way. I'm using the same color as TTM Trend, though I'm not sure if that's the same code as TTM Trend. This is a different code that I found on usethinkscript.com. I don't know who wrote that code, or else I would have credited them, but it was out there open to the public, and other people use it in other indicators. I thought I'd throw it into this one, but it seems kind of superfluous, so I don't really use Trend Magic anymore. We'll just turn that off, and we'll use red-green, which is the color system that I mentioned before. And you see the legend up here now says Trend Magic because it had used Trend Magic. Now we're going to go to use red-green. It'll have the legend, the color coding for the red-green system, which is just a gradient of reds and greens. And just to indicate, again, at a glance, just to help with the visualization of what type of strat bar we're looking at, what type of scenario. You can take off the legend if it's cluttering the top of your chart and you don't want to have it there. You know what it looks like, so you don't need to see it anymore. Just hit show legend, turn on or turn off right there, on or no or yes. And then each one of these reversals is you're given the option to see it or not see it. If you hit no here, you're not going to see cyan or magenta when that reversal happens. And then here's the settings for Trend Magic. You can mess around with that if you want. It uses CCI and ATR. And that's it basically. If you hit yes on the reversals, you'll still see the candles, but you can actually turn off the arrows individually. I don't know. I need to maybe rethink this code and make it less redundant, but you can hit no on all of that, and you can turn off the cyan and magentas and just leave this color theme here. And if you know what the reversals look like, you don't need to see my magenta or cyan. You can do that. I'm leaving them because I want to see where they happen and so forth, and I'm still studying them. That's it for that indicator, the reversal basic 4 indicator. Another indicator that you're seeing down here. Well, actually, let me go back to this other chart real quick. So another indicator that you're seeing is, you see right here these different time frames: 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 1 day. These, and you'll notice that they are color coded the same as the basic 4 with the reversals. So there's, for example, one of the basic 4 reversals is happening on the 3 minute bar, on a 5 minute bar, and on the daily bar. And the others are giving you the state of that bar on that time frame. For example, the 30 minute bar right now is a 1 up. The 15-minute bar right now is a 2 up, and so on and so forth. So that's giving you the state of the bar, what type of bar it is currently on that time frame. And down here, this other study is meant for time frame continuity. So this study is not telling you what state the bar is in. It's telling you if the open is if the close is above or below where it opened on that time frame, and what that level was when it opened. So, for example, on the daily, it opened at 33.69.25, and price closed below that level, so it's red. Or is not closed but is currently below that level. That's what you're seeing with red or green or white. On the 15-minute, it price opened at 33.63.75 and is exactly at 33.63.75, so it's white. So that's all you're seeing here is each of these time frames with the level that the price opened on that time frame. So that bar, the 5-minute bar, opened at 33.64.5. And the color indicates if it's currently above or below the open, or if it closed in the past. If the bar's already closed, then it's above or below the open. Where if it closed above or below the open, there's not a lot to them. The thing that you have to remember is that it's one study that you have to add several times. The chart already has them loaded, and then you just go into each study and you change the time frame. So if like I've got it loaded with a 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, so on and so forth. That's for the Strat labels. That's these ones up here. These ones over here, the Strat full time frame continuity labels, multi-time frame, that's these down here. Same thing. It's the same study loaded several times, one for each time frame. I put them in the volume window. You can put them anywhere else you want. If you want to put them up here, I'm trying to keep it a little bit less cluttered up here. So I put these down here. That's what those two studies do. There's another study here that is a multi-time frame Strat candle overlay. Let me show you that study. It's very similar to the Strat, the basic 4 reversals, and the Strat study for the individual candles, except that now we're focusing on a higher time frame. So let me remove everything until we get there. There. And you'll see what that study looks like. Okay, so let me set it to something higher. Let's set it to 15 minutes just so we can see what that looks like. Since we're on the 1 minute, I've done other videos that show how to do this. First thing you do is you set the time aggregation, the time frame you want to look at. It has very similar settings to the other study, so I'm not going to go over it, but it's just the legend. You can have the legend up again. Show twos, show the numbers. Okay, show open close lines. I put mine on yes, because the body of these candles is the shaded area, which is actually a cloud in the code. And if you don't show open close lines, if it's a doji like we saw in some of those other 1 bars and 3 bars, you're not going to see anything in between the high and the low bar, because there won't be a line and there won't be a cloud. So I left the line for open close on. I like to customize it to where it's a little thinner, though. No, there it is. So it's already at a 1. So I leave it at a 1. Show high-low lines. Yes, that's the high and the low lines. So again, this is the high, this is the low of the 15-minute candle that has been overlaid over these 1-minute bars. And then the body of the candle is represented by the cloud, the shaded area, the opaque shaded area. There's bar numbers again, and add cloud, yes. And then line weight here, that's for the open close lines. We can make them a little thicker there so you can see them a little clearer where they open and close. I mean, where the high and the low is, because the open close lines are, I like making mine a little thinner. And there again, it's the same color scheme as the others. You're going to see, if you set the numbers, if you show numbers, you're going to see the number at the bottom where there was a low in the lower time frame that touched the low, which is always going to be the case. So if you see like a bunch of 2s like that, it's this bar is a 2, but it touched the low here several times, so it printed a number several times. But just ignore the repeated numbers. It's the same that's just the bar type for the 15-minute overlay that you see here. And that's really all there is to these overlays. It's just another way of seeing, for example, on this 1 minute chart, I can see what's happening on a 15-minute chart because these are 15-minute candles, and I can see what type of strat candle it was. And if there was a reversal, I can see that too. Or maybe not. I'm not seeing any reversals. I think does this study have reversals? This study does not have reversals. Okay. I didn't put them in there. I have another study that does. It gets to where it's really loud. There's just a lot of color and stuff. If anybody wants, just mention that in the comments and I'll share that. Or you can go to a different post that I've already shared it on. And then that's those overlays. And then there's another type of overlay, which is the one that I'm basically releasing this time that I'm debuting. And it's these gray overlays. Let's look at those in particular because those are different from the other overlay. They're still multi-time frame overlays, so they're representative of different time frames, but they don't print the same way as this other multi-time frame strat candle overlay. Let me explain how they print, just clearing up this chart a little bit. So here you're going to have 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, and 1 hour. And again, you go into each one of these and you can set the aggregation as you desire. And that's really, there's not a whole lot of other settings. Show cloud, yes, because that's the whole purpose of this. And show label, that's the label up here. And I didn't know how to make it to where you could choose different colors, so I just wrote 4 different ones: a white, light gray one, and black one. Keep in mind that if you have a chart that looks like this, where is it? If your chart looks like this, where it's got a black background, the black ones aren't going to show up. You're not going to see them, but you will see the open close line, which I'll get to in a minute. So that's these different shades here that you're seeing. Let me zoom in on one, and you can see. Well, before I zoom in, you see the black ones. Those are 1 hour time periods, and you see the long line that goes across each of those black ones. That's where it opened. That's where the 1 hour opened. Same rules as these full time frame continuity labels down here. If price either closed above where it opened or is currently above where it opened, that line is green. Same goes for the label. If price closed or is currently below where it opened, the line is red. And so when the market is open, you might see a line change colors depending on if price crossed above or below it. If it's above it, it's green. If it's below it, it's red. Each one of these time frame bars, each one of these shaded areas is a 1 hour candle, 5 minute candle, 30 minute, or 15 minute candle, each one of those. By the way, I have OCD, so this bothers me. I'm going to fix that so that they're in order. So let's see, we've got the 1 hour. We're going to move the 5 minute up. Now it's 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, hour. Yes, it won't really change anything on the chart, but it'll change this here. And now you see 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour. So the 1 hour are the big ones. I chose black. You choose whatever color works for you. I find that going from the lighter colors to the darker colors when you're going from a smaller to a higher time frame works best. I'll let you play around with it and choose what you want. But so you see the little small ones in there. Those, well, they just showed up a minute ago. Where are they? There we go. Those are 5 minute candles, and those are the study that has that ends with white. Those are the white candles, and then you'll see those. No, not yet. Those are 15-minute candles. Those are the study that ends with light gray. You see those, and then those are the 30-minute candles. They end with gray, and then the black candles are the 1 hour candles. So if you zoom in anywhere along this chart, you'll see that each one of these time frames, each one of these aggregations, overlays, has a red or green or white line that represents where that time frame opened. So here, for example, the time frame opened up here. Price went and closed below it. That line is red. Here, the time frame opened right there. Price closed above it. That line is green. So on and so forth. Um, if you don't see one, like for example, this let's see, 5, 10, 15. This 15-minute candle right there had the open at exactly the same place where the 1 hour candle is, which is the big black block. So you're not going to see a different line. It's the same line, but you know that it's there because that's where the 15-minute opened. That's where all of that opened: the 1 hour, the 15-minute, and that 5 bar. And so if you're looking for full time frame continuity, what you want to see is, for example, here you're on this. Let's say this hasn't happened yet, okay? And you're on this time frame, and you're watching price going to the downside. Right there, you have full time frame continuity because price is below all of the other opens, and you can see the price continues down. And then right here, it opens here, and then it immediately shoots up. So now you're going from the lowest open, which is the beginning of full time frame continuity, to the downside, back through the range to the highest open, which in this case is the 1 hour. And you can see the move that it made from there to there. And this is, thank you, Joe Poole. He had a session with me at length where he was explaining some of this. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, and I'm still trying to put it all together and put the pieces together. But that's kind of what I was able to glean. And so I'm going to start looking for that in live action. So if you're looking at each particular section right here, this 1 hour, you need to focus on, there's the hour right between there and there. You open there, and then you're going to be looking for the highest opens and the lowest opens, and that's the beginning of full time frame continuity to the upside, or full time frame continuity to the downside, or if you're stuck anywhere in between, and you're getting chopped up like you would be here. So that's how you would look for time frame continuity using these overlays. I have another study that I hesitate to publish right now. I mean, I can and I will eventually, but I'm using it on the 1 minute. Um, and it's basically taking, the code is saying, I'll show you the code. It's saying, show me opens, if the top, show me the top and show me the bottom. So top would be the level where time frame continuity to the upside, full time frame continuity begins, and then the bottom is the level where full time frame continuity to the downside begins. And then I went through this very sort of cumbersome first draft, I guess you could call it, of if the minute is higher than the 5 minute, and these are all opens. So the open on the minute, the open on the 5 minute, open on the 15, so on and so forth. If the minute is higher than everything else, then the minute is the top. If the 5 is higher than everything else, then the 5 is the top. I'm trying to find a way to streamline that in the code. And I'm also trying to figure out a way to, which I think I have figured out, but I haven't put it into this code, to make it so that this study will appear on higher time frames. Because right now, the way it's coded, it's only going to show up on a 1 minute time frame. If I change that time frame to any other higher aggregation period or time frame, it won't show up because it's using code from a 1 minute. So there's a way to do it, and I think I figured out how. And that's also why I haven't really released it yet. But if you want, I can release this first draft. And this is basically showing you all along the way a magenta bar where full time frame continuity to the downside begins on an intraday, and a cyan bar where full time frame continuity to the upside begins on the intraday. And it's basically the same as the overlays. It's just pointing out where's the top and where's the bottom. I have another study that has sort of the same issues, and that's another reason why I haven't released it. That I currently have on. By the way, I have. I recommend you try this multi-timeframe so that you can switch back and forth between charts, and you can see what price action is doing. I'm also using a swing arm here, which is a different study, different method. but I like using it. Anyways, on the 1 hour, I have one for full time frame continuity on on a higher the higher time frame, and here you see is it's a green and red. So red is full time frame continuity to the downside. Green is full time frame continuity to the upside. I'm going to go ahead and put these in the comments. I mean in the post where this video goes, so that you can have it. Just keep in mind that I'm probably going to put out a better version of it when I figure all of that out. This study is full, not intraday, because it's not looking at any of the minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, blah blah blah. It's just looking between the hour, day, week, and month. Same exact study, just looking. The top is if the hour is higher than everything else, if the day is higher than everything else. So where's the top and where's the bottom on a full time frame? We're going all the way out to month, and that's about it. Let me look back at this and see if there's anything else I need to cover. I think I've pretty much covered everything. At some point, though, I'm probably going to start streamlining my chart because it's starting to look really busy, really loud. I mean, I've got like trend lines, not trend lines, moving averages and VWAP, and then I've also got this other study that I published somewhere else that draws these wedges. But look how good these wedges are. Isn't that something? These are these wedges. Let me just show you. Look how well price projects along that axis. It keeps coming back to it, keeps bouncing off of it as a part of that broadening formation. This is not exactly what, and look, it does it there. This is not exactly what Rob is talking about. It did it there, but this I've noticed this correlation as well, and so look for this wedge study elsewhere. I didn't publish it on this post or the other post, but it's out there. I know I've published it before. And if you have the version that doesn't automatically draw out the diagonal lines, you have to go in and like one by one draw them out. But go ahead and do it because you'll see how well they project price. Not every time, but sometimes. And when it does go along that line and you pick up on that, now you've got a real good support for that broadening formation to the downside, or target for the broadening formation to the upside, based off of a wedge that happened, which is what this study does, is identify where a wedge is happening right there. See that? Where those ones are? And then boom, wedge. That's really all I have for this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments. I hope this helps.